Okay, it has been at least a month since I've been live. I have been traveling like a madman. It has been crazy. I feel bad that I have not been keeping up with my daily content machine, but I am back and I need to get back to deploying ideas. And so here is my idea of wisdom. I'm going to give you the situation, the opportunity, the resolution. The situation: you, as the founder or executives in the business, you're trying to create demand generation alongside your sales team, but the challenge is that you're struggling to book meetings. I want you to pause. Okay, so I want you to, like, I've got a Yeti water bottle here. I want you to pretend that is the prospect. This is the chief information security officer at a company, or the chief financial officer, or for in my case, I deal with founders all day long. You want to book a meeting and you want to create opportunity with the chief information security officer over at Yeti Water Bottle. Why does that person want to meet you? The problem, that's what you're trying to overcome. So you're trying to pull them towards you. Okay. That's like you're tugboating them. But at the end of the day, they don't want to meet because they, in their mind, they have a plan, they have the initiatives they want to run, and they're running with them. So let's actually, instead of thinking about great copy that's going to pull them towards you, let's actually inverse this and say to ourselves, how can I have this person push themselves towards me? And you think, oh, that, like, Jamie, come on, that's insane. That doesn't really work. Well, it is. If you reframe and think about what does the average CFO or CEO of a business or chief information security officer, what do they want? They want career advancement. They want attention. They want to be noticed. They themselves have their own personal priorities, and that is to climb a corporate ladder. That is to enhance their career. So you have to give them something that gives them the ability to do that. I want to introduce you. So that's the situation. The opportunity is called a permission-based content campaign. I learned this from Bryn Tillman. I was doing components of it, but she refined this. It was perfect. Here's how this works. First, you need a list. That list, for us, we use LinkedIn as the medium of communication. It doesn't have gatekeepers. It is one-to-one messaging. It has what's called double potency, meaning it goes into the inbox in LinkedIn and it goes into the inbox that's tied to their mobile device, because that's typically what's the email tied to their LinkedIn account. Now they receive a message. And the message doesn't say, look at my great product, come towards me. I'm not pulling them towards me. Come be part of my business. No, no, no. What we're actually doing is saying, I have an asset that has an audience. That audience is a podcast. That audience is a newsletter. That audience is a webinar. What you are giving, you have a podium that's sitting right here. And you're saying, why don't you become a guest on that podcast, on that newsletter as a quote? Why don't we make a video for you? Why don't we have you on the webinar or have you at the virtual summit? Now all of a sudden the CISO is like, or the chief financial officer, whatever your buyer persona is, like, whoa, I get an opportunity to talk about myself, talk about the initiatives that I care about. I get a soapbox. So what do? They push themselves towards you. Now they're on the soapbox. When you're on the soapbox, yeah, you had to give up something. You had to give up some sweat equity. You had to give up some time. So your cost to customer acquisition was no more than a LinkedIn account. And in my case, we do it through podcasting, a Riverside.fm license, and 15 minutes to do the podcast. You have the podcast episode. You're developing a rapport. Remember the cost. You would have paid thousands of dollars as your cost to customer acquisition to get a meeting with that chief financial officer. Yet now they're on your podcast. It's free. And so you spend some time having a great podcast episode. You're building a rapport and you're asking great questions that is informing the chief financial officer. My God, like, this person really knows what they're talking about. At the end of the podcast, you're not talking about yourself. This is the hardest part. This is what I learned from Bryn. This is the permission-based piece. You ask a simple question. What would you like to know about my business, my service, my agency, what have you? And you're giving them the ability to choose their own adventure. Go left and exit the podcast. We'll see you in a few weeks when it's rendered and it's live online. Which is that happens. But guess what? You're going to tag and share that podcast episode online. Their network's going to see you. You get lumped into their social network. Or they might ask a simple question. You said something on the podcast about X, Y, and Z. Love to learn more about that. Now, here's the kicker. You're not taking a moment to say, oh, we got 17 and a half seconds left before I go to the next meeting. Let me show you what we do. And you're not verbal diarrheaing all over the place. You pause. You say, that's fantastic. Are you available next Thursday, 2:00 at this time? Let me show you how that works. Now you have a truly dedicated sales qualified lead moving towards a real timeline that it takes to demonstrate your product or solution. And your cost of customer acquisition was the value of a podcast license, rendering that podcast, using LinkedIn to engage somebody about that podcast, and a little bit of time. That wasn't thousands of dollars. And that is a permission-based campaign. It works beautifully. Book meetings like this all the time. Yeah, people are coming onto a podcast, but they're getting something. They're getting a soapbox to stand on. And at the same time, a percentage of them legitimately have a need. They have a bottleneck in their business around sales and marketing resources, and they want to talk about that. So I hope that this helps give you ideas as to leverage the power of LinkedIn with a sales play that's a little bit unique, a little bit bold and different, that drives people to next steps in a way that they're pushing themselves towards you rather than you pulling them. Hope you found this valuable.